Actually, I want to go back to the very beginning. I know this has been raised in a number of ways, but I just want to ask you simply, should a 3-mile train be allowed? Yes or no?
It can operate safely and efficiently depending on the location and the integrity of the train. And the men and women that lead and maintain and operate this industry do an exceptionally good job. They don't go out there and just make up trains and figure out, well, I wonder if we can block a bunch of crossings today and inhibit the public, or perhaps run up the risk and have a derailment today. They do a real good job of ascertaining what they need to get accomplished.
So the answer is yes. What about a 5-mile train, a 10-mile train? Should there be any limit, or would you just leave it up to the industry?
I've never heard of one of those being operated except in Australia, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. That's the only place I've ever known a train that big.
So it's happened.
Oh yeah, there's one train that was well, it was close to 30,000 feet.
I think we have your answer. Let's say you got a 3-mile train and you've got one crew member. How long would it take for that crew member to walk from the front to the back of the train to try to figure out the source of a problem?
Well, if he's a good walker, okay, it's going to take you basically for a 3-mile train, what is that, an hour to walk to the rear, an hour to walk back, and then maybe he or she might have to do something in the interim if they find something.
Is that a good situation? You happy with that?
I've never incurred that type of situation.
What if the train is carrying liquid natural gas? Should there be any length to the limit of a train carrying LNG? And I ask because the department is currently expediting review to make it easier for LNG to be transported in different kinds of rail cars. My state of New Jersey, almost certainly we're going to have large trains carrying LNG. Should there be any limit to the length of a train carrying that highly flammable explosive substance?
I think it's best to let the science and facts determine that if it's even necessary. Think about where we've started and where we're at today. We used to have trains that basically were less than a mile long. Through technology and efficiency, and I told you, the number of cars in a train have increased only 10 over the last 45 years, the number of cars. It's the linear length. So as a result, okay, these concepts of these trains are safe. The in-train forces are studied constantly. You actually get a profile that gives you the distribution of tonnage in your train. The people that make up the trains know where to put the tonnage in that consist. People are doing a good job. We just don't go out there and say, I think we'll run some trains today and see what happens.
Yeah, well, people do a good job, which is why we want people on trains. So thank you for making my point there. Let me get back to the LNG question, because the proposed rule would enable LNG to be transported in different kinds of rail cars, in DOT 113 rail tank cars. And my understanding is that those would have about 4 times the capacity of the ISO cars that are now carrying LNG. Do you see any potential risk in vastly expanding the ability of the rail network to carry this substance in rail cars that contain 4 times as much as is currently allowed?
What has been shared to me at this date? No.
Do you know what the blast radius is for one of the current cars, the ISO cars?
Which kind of car? There's so many. I will tell you this, LNG has a lower pressure rate than any other volatile commodity out there. We're handling other commodities that have a much higher pressure rate.
And you know what happens if it's exposed to the atmosphere in an accident?
As I do the other commodities as well.
You have no concerns about?
No, because of the type of equipment and the way in which we handle it. If people do their job, The way that the regulations and the rules and recommended policies and practices are set forth, it will work.
So you'd be fine with a 3-mile-long train carrying liquid natural gas through New Jersey with a one-man crew, because people do their jobs.
Well, I've operated one-man crews in New Jersey and never had any problems.
Thank you. I yield back.